just fades.
Yeah, it just
Incredible.
fades out. Is that fun or what? What a nut, you know? I mean, imagine how many hours you would have to practice to be able to pull something like that off.
I think it's even more than practice, that of course it's incredibly technically gifted, but he's got some perspective, I think, that is even more than technique. To me, it always sounds somehow like he's playing Inside Out. I'm not sure why that is, but, and I love it.
It's different. It's certainly a unique. I think so many of the great guitarists today, tip their hat to him, and take some of his vision into their own playing. There's so many guitarists have kind of gone toward that legato technique, that fluid soloing style. I've tried to incorporate that. This next band is a band called Brand X. Again, I'm a child of the '70s, and I love the '70s fusion. Brand X was started by a bunch of guys over in England. Phil Collins had a huge influence with them, and it was basically a band they put together so that they could play their real stuff. Like the LA studio guys have bands like that. They'll do their Toto stuff, to make some money, or their Journey stuff to make some money. But behind the scenes, they've got these incredible bands put together so that they can just, stretch out a little bit and play the kind of stuff that they want to play. And I've always seen Brand X as being that type of a vehicle for some of these really talented players. This particular song kind of showcases John Goodsoul's guitar technique and pyrotechnics. It's simply a song called And So To F. This is And So To F, Brand X.
enjoy that, Chris.
That is a lot of fun. I believe that's our friend Phil Collins on vocals in the background. A little bit different than some of the things he's been putting out in the last 10 or 15 years, I would think.
What is the vintage on this piece?
I'm sorry?
How old is this piece?
1977
Thank you.
or so. And that's something that I really like a lot. There's a number of instrumentals that they do that feature the guitar that just completely blow me away. Good soul, could play. He really could. I promised last week that I would play some Phil Keaggy on each show, just because you know Mike about Phil Keaggy. He's a little too Christian to be played on the rock stations, and a little too out front to be played on the Christian stations. So he's kind of in like artistic limbo. Yet he's a phenomenal musician that kind of inhabits the rock sphere. This particular song, it's called Sounds. It was completely recorded by Phil in his basement studio when he lived in Kansas. And the story he tells about this particular solo is he put all the tracks together. I think he did all of the tracks except maybe the drums or something. Put all the tracks together, and it was time to layer in the solo. And he was feeling in this, weird kind of mood, and he decided to turn all the lights out in the studio, so make it pitch black. And he started this solo off standing up, playing, and when he came out of the solo, he realized that he was down on his knees. He just got completely wrapped up into this solo. It's probably one of my top 10 rock and roll guitar solos of all time. This is Sounds, and you can find it on the Phil Keaggy Getting Closer album. Can you hear me?
And it happens every day when I'm thinking of your name. In my heart when I draw near and incline my ear to hear your voice. Take me anywhere, I will be your servant, for I long to share these sounds. I hear sounds. Blessed are those who hear, blessed are those who read, blessed are those who observe the word of the Lord, and those who read. And it happens every day when I'm thinking of your name. May it please you, oh my Lord, and for you I will perform these sounds. I hear sounds. Oh Lord, take me anywhere, I will be your servant, I'll be there to share those sounds. It happens every day when I'm thinking of your name. In my heart when I draw near and incline my ear to hear. It happens every day when I'm thinking of your name. May it please you, oh my Lord, and for you I will perform. Yes, it happens every day when I'm thinking of your name. In my heart when I draw near and incline my ear to hear. It happens every day
Phil Kagi. What a cool solo.
Inspired.
Just kind of out of control. How many guitarists did he just blow away right there that make 50 times the money he does in the rock and roll field? He's one of the artists that I'll go see every time I get a chance. You know, I don't go to a lot of live shows much anymore, but I'll make an exception with him.
And he plays in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, he plays at local churches and stuff.
Really makes it easy for us.
I know, it's true. I saw him at the Scotch Plains Evangelical Church about 6 months ago, and he was very good. He did a lot of solo acoustic stuff. This next piece is just for the fun of it all. A guitarist named Gary Huey does a rendition of the Hocus Pocus song. You remember Hocus Pocus by Focus?
Hardly.
The yodeling song? You'll recognize it in 2 seconds. This is Gary Huey playing Hocus Pocus.
Rock on, Chris.
What'd you think of that one, Wayne?
It's a monster.
It's a pretty sick one.
I think you gotta love it. I don't know. You can't.
I know. It's certainly not going to make top 40 radio or whatever, but you know, certainly us guitarists could appreciate it. You mentioned the 11th House a little while ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play something from. They don't really call this album an 11th House album, but it really is. It's Larry Coryell, Alphonse Mouzon back together again with the great Philip Catherine on a second guitar. And this is a song called Transvested Express, which is it's just a great name for a song. But listen to this guitar interplay. It's just really special. Transvested Express, Larry Coryell. What'd you think of that one, Mike?
It was. I don't know if you can catch it actually on the video, but the stereo effects are incredible. Actually, in between.
Yeah, the moving back and forth. Those guys are definite nuts. Now you were telling me the other day that you have a bunch of live Mahavishnu Orchestra material for me. Mike and I trade a lot of live stuff with each other,